What is the average return on your real estate investment? This is a really good question, and I got it recently, and there's two ways for me to look at it. The first one is, what can I expect from real estate if I invest in it? And the other way to take it is, how do I actually calculate my ROI? So today you get a boom double bonus, and we're gonna do both of those.
'Cause we're gonna be legends. What we're doing here ain't just scary. It's about to be legendary.
Let's answer the first question. I mean, what kind of return can you expect from real estate? Usually the person asking that question has money in the stock market, 401k, and IRA. And I have to tell you that it comes down to the operator more than the property, because some operators know how to produce 5 or 6 or 7% in real estate. And from that perspective, it looks like the stock market. But some of us know how to produce 25 or 30%. I know how to, in time, produce 50%, 100%, and 200%, and 1,000%, and 10,000%. Now I lost all my credibility because you're like, whatever, jokester, I'm leaving. But hang tight for a second. So I've done 4,000 projects. My name is Kris Krohn, for those of you that don't know. If you're not, you need to be a subscriber to the channel, because every day I'm sharing with you the real scoop on how to become financially free as soon as possible, live life on your terms, and unleash your financial destiny. Let me just tell you that when I started doing real estate, I was doing 20, 30%. But then I learned how to tap into real estate with much higher ROIs. As far as the actual dollar itself goes, like investing, let's say I'm buying a $150,000 house and it's a 20% down payment. So let's say I put $30,000 into the property. That's what 20% is. If I'm a typical person doing backyard real estate, honestly, 6, 7, 8% is very, very normal. I teach a strategy for the backyard called lease options, or for those that want to be hands-off, I take them into the best markets nationwide for high ROI rentals. And in both of those strategies, I can usually pound out a solid average 25%, which means that I'm doubling my money every 4 years. From that point of view, that's why I love real estate. That's why I have a hard time putting my money in anything else. I love putting it in alternative investments, but usually not the stock market, 401k, IRA. It's just not my deal, even though that's what's taught, normal, standard, and accepted. Let's talk about, however, how you actually calculate your ROI. For those of you that are interested in the first answer, click the link in the description below, get with a member of my team, and we'll actually show you sample deals I'm doing right now where you can find out, hey, 25%, man, that's gotta be a random fluke deal. No, I can show you that on my last 3,000 properties. But what I wanna do right now is, for those of you that tapped this video because you said, Kris, I actually wanna know how to calculate my ROI. Let's go back to that example. I have a house that has a value of $150,000. If I'm putting a standard 20% down, then that means that's roughly 30 grand. So whether I get my 30 grand out of my 401k, IRA, stock market, home equity from my primary residence or whatever, I'm gonna take that 30 grand, and if I put it into a property, I got a nice simple equation here. Calculating ROI is the most important calculation that you need to know how to do. So I'm gonna pull up my calculator, I'm gonna do it with you right now. We're gonna assume in this example that I put 30 grand in, and let's just say that I got 30 grand back out. So I doubled my money. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take my profit, which if I double my money, check this out. We know that we made $30,000. And then it says over here, we need to divide that by the money that we put in. In this case, it also just happens to be $30,000. And you'd expect that. 30,000 divided by itself is 1. But now the equation says over here, we need to multiply that by 100 to figure out the percent. So times 100. And we made 100% on our money. But the deal took 5 years. So I need to divide it by the number of years, which is 5. Made 20% on my money on that deal. Let's do it one more time, a little different. Same deal. I found a home for $150,000. I put 20% down, 30 grand. Maybe it came from my 401k, IRA, and uncle and niece or something. Let's say on this one we made $50,000. So now I'm going to take 50,000, then I'm going to divide it by my investment, and I get 1.666667. Then I'm going to multiply that by 100, and it says, lo and behold, I made 166% return on my money. But it took me 6 years to do it. So I'm going to divide that by 6, and my ROI is 27.7%. Just between you, me, and the wall, if I'm not doing 25%, I kind of feel a little bit let down. As a bonus, before we end this video, I want to share just kind of something a little cooler. 2 things that I think are actually fairly mind-blowing. Here's the first one. What happens if you sold this house and you made 30 grand and then you put it into 2 properties? So I did this deal with 150, put 30 grand in, 5 years later, sold it, made my 20% ROI, but now I take my 30 grand of my original down payment and my 30,000 of profit and I put them both here. Basically, I took one home and turned them into two, but on the same original dollar. On the original dollar, if I was earning 20% before, and if I'm gonna earn the same ROI, I'm now going to make 40% on my money. Why? Because I doubled and now I'm going to double it again. And this is how you can get up to 100%. I've been doing this for 15 years. So on some of my investments, I'm now earning hundreds of percents. But then I'm gonna show you one final bonus. If you use OPM, have a partner that says, Kris, you got an awesome track record. Let me put up the money and you do all the hard work. You do the heavy lifting, you find the deal, sick your team on it, make it happen. I'll put up the money. We call that OPM, other people's money. If you put no money in and you buy 5 homes with this partner and you make 300,000 of profit, and they get 150,000 and you get 150,000, how do you calculate your ROI on getting 150,000 but putting no money in? Well, technically it's an infinite ROI. So then the only thing that you can do to really calculate it is then to say, well, let's look at how many hours I put in, and then you can start calculating what your time is really worth. So my friend, I hope that was useful for you. If you want to know what can you expect in real estate, it depends. If you're a novice, if you're an expert, 25%, work with my team. Or if you want to know how to calculate ROI, we took care of that as well. So thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Get your hands on a free copy of my book, get a consultation, talk to my team, say, I want a free game plan. Kris said I can have one. And what that entitles you to is my team stepping into your shoes and saying, awesome. If Kris were you, what would he do today to make his next $1 million? And whether you're deeply in debt or you're ahead of the curve, Kris is going to show you your next moves in real estate. Thanks for watching. Subscribe. See you tomorrow.